The world's gone absolutely crazy. It's just doom and gloom, though, isn't it? From you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you get on the news. You can't help but see what's happened the day before or the night whilst you've been asleep. It's just,
It's really crazy. I was in Auckland for the past week, and my wife came over with me. I was due to do some work with a client who had to postpone, but I'd gone for some business coaching for myself as well, and we couldn't believe how slowly the week felt like it went. But it was maybe because it was just so full of information, and we were just, I don't know, it seemed like a surreal word. And I see New Zealand they're going into total lockdown on 48 hours time. So, the doom and gloom, and then you overlay that with our human instincts that are looking to survive, and we see bad before we see good. This is just a recipe for frigging disaster at the moment.
Yeah, I can imagine. And that's what it is, right? It's just one thing after the next. And I've been trying to talk my wife out of trying to remain positive and trying, which is quite a hard thing to do right now. It's really is. Obviously, got family overseas, and she's got family that live in Croatia. They've just had an earthquake as well. 5.8 that's destroyed Zagreb. So there's a lot of issues, and it just seems to be the never-ending cycle right now. So which is really why I wanted to obviously have this video with you and share with our followers more than anything, because I think everything I see in LinkedIn, everything I see on panic, fear, and it's really bringing out it's bringing out the worst of a lot of people. Right? Let's be honest. It's really, you're seeing some really horrible characteristics, but on the flip to that, you're also seeing the best in people as well. But I think a lot of that is the fear and the panic that's really kind of setting in right now. It's kind of motivate yourself to think, to wake up on Tuesday in a different mindset and look at a different way or a different angle. I think that's why I wanted to jump on this video with you and really kind of get your perspective on things, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's everything you've said there, and this is the interesting thing: is there is such a there's a polarization in this whole thing. You're either, and most people are at the fetal position, sucking their thumb in the corner at the moment. I get that because as I've got decisions that are being made, by the hour, people's livelihoods are being destroyed. So totally get that. I guess. If I look at it for myself, my diary, which, when I saw you, my diary was looking pretty healthy on Wednesday, the 11th, I think it was, of March. And then by Friday the 13th was a proper Friday the 13th, mate.
It was for everyone.
The diary cleared out. And I guess it comes back to a couple of things there. Not to put aside the fact that I don't at times have my moments of waking up and going, what the hell is going to happen in 6 months' time? But for me, it's about the choice at that particular time. It's choosing how I choose to be, and this whole idea that I'm really well aware as a human being that I'm a survival species and I'm looking to survive. So I'm looking for things that are going to be dangerous to me.
Yeah.
That means I'm not going to look at the things that could be good for me. So one of the things I'm encouraging people to do at the moment is in that minute is just to do what I call the 2 A's, which is awareness. So here's how I feel right now, and I'm aware of everything that's going on for me and what's being done to me and what I'm doing to myself. And then the second one is adjustment. And it's just this, how do I adjust in the moment? Because if I stay in a mindset of danger and fear and all of those things, that I'm going to end up in that fetal position in the corner of the room, and not only not much good to myself, Ross, but not very good for let's talk about work, my work colleagues, my clients, and then I'm going to take it further, and then we go to the ripple effect of family, extended family, community. So people just being able to make sense of the fact that you're a survival species, so this is what's going to happen. And I'm not telling people not to be human, because part of being human is to survive. But what I'm saying is we have a chance at a moment in time to go, what's the story I choose to tell myself right now? Yep. Is it useful for me?
Yep.
And then if it's not useful for me, be aware enough to adjust it to something that is more useful. And that might not be from diabolical to beautiful rose petals being thrown out in front of me. But it's just I did that video today on adaptation. Like it's a small move. It's like I could be thinking that my business is going to be gone in 12 months' time, or I could be thinking that we've been able to build up something there to get us through. So I think I would really encourage people to practice the 2 A's: awareness in the point in time and the adjustment to something else. And I guess the thing that comes with that, Ross, is you've got to be prepared to share how you're feeling with other people.
Absolutely right. I think that's spot on. I think that's the thing, right? It's if you focus on the doom and gloom and you're not able to adapt and shift, your thought process, your mindset, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can just be, like you said, a small adjustment just to kind of get over that, because the anxiety sets in. As a small business owner myself, I've got staff here. I've got people that have just arrived from the UK that we literally just employed to come over. It's been a process of getting their visa. They arrived a week before lockdown, so I can only imagine the fear that they've got and the anxiety that they've got setting in right now. And it's not about focusing on that stuff. It's about focusing on, okay, so what are we going to do now to make sure that we are going to be here? We know we've got the right business. We know we've got the right team, the right culture, and it's trying to now take that from the office, take that online where we're using technology, using Microsoft Teams, and we're fortunate enough to be in a situation that we've been able to do that, and remain the culture and remain the communication, keeping the communication up, and focusing on all the positives as opposed to the negatives and the fear mongering that really kind of kicks in. And I think it's that part, being human. You need to be aware of those things that are going to kind of attack you or hurt you, and you need to adapt, as you said, and pivot quickly to go, okay, well, this is the situation, now we need to do this. It's not trying to stay on the same path. It's not going to get the right outcome necessarily. So
I think that's
I watched your video this morning about being adaptive, and it was spot on. I was like, yep, I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, it's interesting. I've just done some work with a client. We started about 4 or 5 months ago, and they're having some pretty tough times even before this thing's happened. But their feedback in the last week has been, because we've done this work on adaptation of keep, add, discard. Plus, we understand, we actually can make sense of how we're feeling at the moment. Yep. They said the way we're approaching this in a pretty dire time is we would have in the past been attacking each other and trying to survive and defend our own patch. And they said there's the spirit of, I hate this word collaboration, but I'll use it. The spirit of collaboration, or let's call it connection and community. They're saying it doesn't mean we're going to come out of this in a great place, but at the moment we're working really well together because we can make sense of how we're feeling. And I go back to that feeling word again. Mate, what I'll shoot through to you, I've got I don't know where I came across this. I've got an A4 sheet with about 400 feeling words on it. And I used to use it with my old team at Post, particularly for the people who, when I would say to them, how are you feeling? And they'd go, yeah, good. Right. I'd be like, how are you really feeling? Oh, good. They started to look on the sheet and pick a word, pick something. And I think this could be something, because one of the things you've done really well is you've created a strong human culture in your business. So there's a big tick there. That will be tested in these times because people will start to shrink a little bit, but giving them even something simple like a list of words where they can look at it and go, hey, you know what, right now I'm feeling overwhelmed. Okay, let's talk about that. And what about others? Yeah, I'm feeling that, because this a list of letting people be heard is important. I think I sent you the link. I've just launched that. Yep. I'm doing these little 15-minute for people just to just have a chat with me and go,
oh, that was brilliant.
How are you feeling? What's that?
Like a 20-minute booster, right? Here's your 20-minute chat. Let's have a chat about it. And you need to get that out, right? If you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious or stressed, or the whole thing can just consume you. So you need to talk about that.
And we shouldn't be trying to cover it up with, with everything's rosy and everything's positive, because it's not at the moment. And, just acknowledge and accept that. But at the same time, catching yourself continually being caught in the mire of doom and gloom is not useful for any human being, because what happens is it just sort of pervades everything, and it gets other humans start to pick it up, and I talked about the 8-drawer filing cabinet in our head of 80% of our thoughts are negative thoughts. We need to start to delve a little bit into our 2-drawer filing cabinet. And again, with what you've done in your business, and it's like what Anna's done in her business, you've got a really good head start. What you need to be able to do is to keep the people in a place where, we're realistic, but at the same time, we're going to be positive as well. Look, there's a brutal reality of the world right today. Yeah. But we need to throw some optimism into that as well and say that the world's not going to be the same. Yeah. But what can we do to adapt? What can we keep doing? What can we add? And what can we... And discard's a big one here, mate, because people find it hard to let go of stuff that's made them successful. Yeah. So this is a really big point to stress to your people, is that they'll be more reluctant to discard stuff, particularly around their values, beliefs and behaviours. Yeah. That they'll need to discard in these times because they won't serve them well in the future.
I agree.
So and that's things to think about there.
Because that's the thing that served them so well. That's what's got them to where they are today. So to discard, it's like completely rechanging your belief system all over again and rebuild it, which no one wants to do. No one likes that much change, but to actually have to build it again from the ground up, it's going to be a long road for some people, but they've got to start somewhere, right?
And, that's absolutely right. And see, we've been rewarded for certain behaviours, whether they be good, bad or indifferent, over many, many years. And, the old system rewards technical competence and that's important. But what we're facing into now, mate, is an adaptive challenge. And this is about changing values, beliefs and behaviours. And this is really hard work to do because I've always behaved this way and I've always been rewarded. You want me to change? You want me to believe something different? You want me to value something different? And what does it mean to, I'm going to say this straight up, what does it mean to my bonus if I do that?
That's right.
That's because that's survival. So, there's some things. How did you want to, are you going to just share the video we're doing here with your people? Cool. Yeah, excellent.
So go straight out. This is what we're going to do here. So once this is going to go, so my marketing guy Dom's going to get on this and just tidy it up, and then
beautiful.
We'll go back with you, and then we'll fire it out, mate. To everyone.
That's cool.
I don't want to keep it as an interview format. I prefer just having this.
Bloody oath, mate.
The way it's the realism. It's not here's your structured questions and here's what I want to run through. This is here, right? This is true life. This is what it is. So, I think that's really the way. I think moving forward, and I think it'll be. I can only imagine, mate, that your business is actually going to blow up more than anything. I think now more than ever, people need to have someone who can keep the feet grounded, keep things real, and really kind of help them through this change up.
I'm pleased to hear that. Look, there's been a level of frustration of dealing with people who want to do this work just to tick a box, and I always say to my clients is if it's budget before appetite, you should go and get yourself a rinse and repeat consultant who's going to get you to catch each other falling backwards, because you've got to. This is the other thing for your people to think about is their appetite at the moment to step into their discomfort has got to be strong, because there ain't going to be no compliance-based off-site leadership thing that you go to where you shoot each other at paintball or do something like that that's going to get you through this. It's going to be more about being prepared to, like I said before, share how you're feeling is really, this number one is most important. The awareness and adjustment thing is really critical. And just to extend upon that, when I'm coaching my coaching clients, the very first piece of work we do is we find that default behaviour, the one that they think has served them well, but it's really not serving them all that well. And what I say to them, Ross, is you've got 3 points. The 3 points along the way where you can catch yourself. The first one is you'll catch yourself before you go into your default behaviour. The second one is catch yourself during it. And the third one is to catch yourself after. And I'd encourage you people at the moment, this is about heightening their awareness, is just start to take a mental note. What's that behaviour that you're going to do that won't be useful? And it's all right if you catch yourself after at the minute, because remember, it's a default behaviour, so you've had it forever. But just become more aware. If you can move from catching yourself after to catching yourself during to then catching yourself before, your behaviour patterns are going to change. And, mate, as we know, they're going to need to change, because so my clients, what they'll say is they'll be disappointed. They'll come back and go, I did it 20 times and only caught myself twice before, and it was 18 times after. And I'm like, that's a success. That's success. So catching themselves is important. But and I can't stress enough the whole idea of being prepared to share stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's a key thing. I think personally, I probably struggle with the whole feeling side of it as well. I think just being my background, just I'm not a big sharer when it comes to that stuff. Everything's okay, because you've got to be within the family, right? You've got to be the rock. You've got to be the one that's okay. So trying to share that in terms of how I'm feeling, you'll probably get a very similar response. So that's something I've got to learn. I've got to change that up, and obviously be a little bit more open with my family, obviously with friends, with my team as well.
And I think there's a big piece there, mate, in learning from my times in adaptive leadership is this sense of what leadership's about. It's what you do, and one of the greatest things you can do at the moment is to go first.
Yep.
Because your people will be looking for permission to do the same thing, but if they're not seeing it from you, they're going to say that's the behaviour that we should be undertaking, because that's how Ross is. So I'm not going to do it, and it doesn't mean that you've got to share your deepest, darkest things, but just share a little bit about at the moment I'm actually feeling a bit out of control because I don't know what's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is giving them the opportunity, mate, and as you should do with each other, is to help each other. I look at a key KPI at the moment, even though we shouldn't measure it, should be helpfulness.
Yeah.
What are we doing to help each other at the moment? What are we doing to care for each other? And this one's going to be hard at the moment too, Ross, is what are we actually doing to try and have some fun?
Yeah.
Because it's not fun times at the moment. Because, this thing called the coronavirus has become the fucking fun police, mate. That's turned up and destroyed fun. But you must be able to find a way in your business at the moment to take the piss a bit, have a bit of banter. You said you already said you sort of talked about you're doing a bit of that now. There's a seriousness to this as well, but at the same time, it's a bit of fun. I don't mind the idea. I used to apologise if my dogs started barking in one of these calls. I don't care now, mate, because it's not that important at the moment. It really isn't.
Right. I think that's it, mate. It's the fun aspects. I think that's the communication. Before we left the office last week, we said that's the key thing for us. It's got to keep communication up, especially with isolation. People sat at home. The biggest thing you take for granted is that you come in every day and you see these. They're like a family that you see every day. You talk to them every day. You have little quirks and little funnies with them and little things, and that's the stuff that people are going to miss. Those little engagement points. So making sure that that's maintained. Little check-ins. Making sure that if you're feeling a bit down, getting on the phone, getting on video. And that's the key from what we found just with the first week gone. That's made a huge difference. Not getting caught up in the doom and gloom. Everyone knows that's there. Trying to keep them off of media because it's a bit of a nightmare. Obviously the news, but you really focusing on that element is probably the way to go.
And I think the other one too is there's a couple of things here. One is actually have some structured formal time for the banter at the moment. But at the same time, you need your structured formal time for work, and don't try and mix them both up too much. The reason I say that is that what will happen is all the banter will go and all the work will take over. So it's like, how do you actually say, for the next 5 minutes, we're just going to take the piss, or we're going to have a bit of banter, or we're going to talk about what happened on the weekend, and let's throw some good stuff up here. I used to say to my guys, what did you enjoy at work, and what did you achieve outside of work? I flipped over achievement and enjoyment from the way we usually think about them. So there's one way. Another way to do it is just to like simply come up with a bit of a sign. If you're on these calls together, if people start to just talk about work, what we used to do is thumb on the head and just be like, you know what, we're going too much into the workplace at the moment. So giving that space for people to be able to talk about both. And here's the other one around humanivation. This thing I spoke about last week on my video. Before you start to talk about the things you've got to do at the moment, this is a really, really important one for your people. Go around the room, go around your call, and ask people how they're going to choose to be on this call. So, what today Mark might say, hey, Ross, I'm going to choose to be a bit quiet today because I've just got so much shit going on in my mind, I can't think straight. And then you might say, I'm going to choose to be challenging today because I'm a bit clearer. And so if I challenge you a bit today, it's not from a bad place, it's from a good place. And excuse me. So I would really, really encourage your people to be thinking about their to-be list to complement their to-do list, because we're going to get so caught up at the moment in, I got 300 things to do.
Yeah.
But if I turn up like an arsehole to do them, how I've chosen to be an arsehole, well, then people are going to think I'm an arsehole and we're going to get nothing done. But if I turn up with good intention to be, I can't think of any other word than collaborative in my mind at the moment, to be collaborative or to be whatever it is.
Dreaded word.
It's
better than the other C word, let's be honest, that we keep hearing.
So that would be another thing for your people to be just checking in. Mate, I have something on my website I'll send to you. There's a Humanovation challenge, but there's a downloadable PDF of what I call an A5 Humanovation sheet. When every day you get a chance to write down the word, today I choose to be, and you can even use that by meeting that you're on. Like, get people at the start for 2 or 3 minutes just to go around and say, hey, I'm choosing to be this today.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. The other one is, like, mate, encourage your people. Like, sometimes they may not want to be as open in this forum. Like, mate, get a few of them to encourage them, give them the link and whack them through to me on those 15-minute things. And, I'd be more than happy to hear them. And
I'll be sharing all your links online with this post as well. So I'll be encouraging everyone to obviously get out there, read, obviously the links, download those files, get your books as well. So obviously the original, The Being Human, and also the Little Book of Human as well. Which, by the way,
I appreciate
the first one in order to get the benefits of
that was really that was a very unhuman act of mine to do that on the night, mate. But
great marketing ploy that was. Love it. The little one's easy. Put it in your pocket, but you need the first one, just so you know.
Yeah, you've got to read the first one. Is there anything else anything else on your mind at the moment that might be useful, you're thinking, for your guys and girls there?
No, look, I think for now, I think that's going to cover everything off. I think that's the main thing. The message is just really, be human. It's okay to feel the way that you're feeling right now, but don't try not to wallow in it. It gets easy. You can easily catch yourself in that state, and it's easy to kind of wallow around in there and trying to lift yourself up, look at the positives, adapt, change how you're feeling, change everything about your stance, your situation. Obviously, I know we can't get out and about, but get out in the garden, just get out of the environment and just change what you do. You need to do, and that's for everyone. Everyone needs to be doing that. Definitely.
And maybe the last thing, mate, is just don't try not to change your routine much. Like, if people are keeping fit and healthy and doing that stuff, like, it's easy enough to come up with a pity party excuse of I can't do it today, but find a way to, because that stuff's gonna, if you stop that, your mental health's gonna be impacted. And so maybe that's something that people can talk about in your banter time, about what are you doing at the moment to adapt and improvise what you're doing to keep yourself active.